in this movie I will present my Fortress Maximus figure. That's a follow-up to my Scorponok figure. I designed this myself. I printed this at home and he's fully transformable. So I would like to show you how he looks and what are his features. Sorry for the window, but it is extremely hot and I just need some air to be able to do this. So first of all, I would like to tell you about the inspiration for this, and my inspiration is the Marvel comic. It may be obvious to some of you, but I would like to make this clear. And also, in Poland, Marvel comic was not distributed like it normally is. It was like a mash of different stories, and each book had a few stories, sometimes unrelated, but we did get a lot of Scorponok and we did get a lot of Fortress Maximus. So one of my stories that I liked was this book, and I don't think actually this cover is related because this is from the movie, but the story inside is about Buster, I think, and when he needs the help of Fortress Maximus, he goes skiing. So this drawing is basically what I'm not sure if it's in focus. Let's try this. So this drawing is basically what I based this figure on. So as you can see, there are many similarities. I did made some changes, but basically this is my inspiration, and I will be showing you some other comic pages throughout this movie, and there are some compromises made. As you can see, his head is a darker gray, and this is the setup that I like the most. I am looking for a proper, as you can see there are some other options for a proper color for his head. This is a smiling face. So sorry, I moved the camera. So I am still looking for a proper color, because in the comic actually his head was, if I can find it again, and here let's go into focus, was like this color. So it's like a violet pinkish color, but unfortunately I did not find a proper material yet, so I will be doing this with this darker gray. And before moving on, I would like to show you some comparisons. So here is my Scorponok figure that some of you may recognize. He is also printed and designed by me. He's in a more dynamic pose. And here is Legends Power Master Optimus Prime with my head and guns. So I wanted those three to match. So I will show you a page from the comic that was a basis for this. So in the comic, as you can see, those characters weren't meant to be a basis. They were like slightly larger than regular characters. So as you can see, this is what I am aiming at. So I have an Optimus like this, but maybe I will make a proper Power Master Optimus Prime. We shall see. So this is the scale. I will show you some other characters. So here are some headmasters. So they are a bit smaller. And here are some siege figures. I think they look okay together, but this scale is those three leaders is the scale that I started with. And of course, because this is 3D printed, you can print it in any scale you want. So it could be much larger, much smaller. I have this is actually the same figure but printed at the 60% scale. So same can be done to this one, so it can be much larger. This is the scale that I am comfortable with by printing at home, because it takes a lot of time and I only have one printer, but he can be twice as big if you wish. So So let's show some masterpiece figures before we move on, just to give you some sense of scale. So here is X-Trans Blaster. So they are very similar scale. Oh, sorry. Let's move this gun out of the frame. So here's Blaster. Here is MP10 Optimus Prime. So I also wanted them to be a similar scale. So this is how they look together. For some other figures, here is Masterpiece Holdrad. He does have my alternative knees, so he's just a tiny bit smaller. Here is Jazz. He is my add-ons, so he is more a toy-based configuration, but as you can see, here he is with some other figures. And the Legends line is quite popular now, so here he is with some Legends figures from New Age that I really like. So here is, so maybe you would like this setup for you. It's all up to you. So okay, and one more thing, I have some masterpiece scale humans. So this is Raul and Talara. I'm not sure, the guy from Powerglide. So I think this scale really looks nice with the humans. So in one part he was, I think, hiding Spike inside of his chest, so he was lying like this. So I think this is nice, a nice scale. Okay, so for the figure, let's moving a bit closer, and I will raise the camera. So here's the close-up of him, and as I said before, I will be trying some different colors. Here is a smiling face. The face can be changed, so just like this. And for his features, this of course is removable because I'm not sure, it's not exactly an Autobot logo, it's somewhat drawn Autobot logo, but still you can pop this off and put in a normal panel. So it looks like this. So also for me it is important for the figure to be able to bend the gun and point straight up. If I can show you on an example, so like this. Like this. So I really like this kind of pose, like on this blue streak, so I wanted this figure to be able to do it. But his arms are modeled in such a way that all you can achieve is 90 degrees. So I came up with this thing here, that when you reach this point you can extend this. Oops. So this is not glued, I will show you why later. You can extend this, and now he can achieve this thing that I really like. This expression. Those parts can be puffed off because I will be testing another red. I will talk about that in a second, but right now they can be removed. So like this. So this is one thing, and of course it can be done with other hand. So he can have this look. So when you put them down, just not to look weird, you can slide this up, and those arms can slide up or down. There will be an option to lock them in this up position, but I left this sliding option in because this way it's easier for him to do another pose that I like. So he can, if I will add a second hand, he will be able to hold the gun in such a way that something like this. So this arm is slightly lower, and I also like this pose. So he just needs another hand, and because of this sliding option, he's basically able to pull this off. And okay, so let's see how he looks from the back. This is a look from the back. There are some parts for transformation. Let's move him a bit further. So this is his back look for now. Maybe I will make some changes here, but basically this is it. Those parts I think will be gray. They are just bright here, but I will make them gray to better match this. And here is a locking point. As you can see, this part locks. And I think I will be making an option for him to store a gun on his back somehow. So probably something, a clip like this. I wanted for it to hide in here, but I made a compromise so this thing hides more, but it doesn't fit the gun. So, but I think I will make just a part here that will allow this gun to plug in, something like this. So let's move the gun to the side. Okay, and so for some other posing options, he can move those parts here. As you can see, this armor moves. So you can also lock this armor here, but to have the toy look and also, I mean, the comic look, but also give him articulation, this is actually can be removed. So you can pose the arm as you like and just slide this on like this. So it is a compromise. But if this was solid, it would hinder the movement. So in order it to look like this, this is what I came up with. He can spin his torso like this. He can also could spin here if you disconnect this part, but those flaps can move. The head, of course, can move. And if I remove it, as you can see, this whole part actually doesn't have to come off. This whole part is removable. And there is a port here because there is a small Unique Toys figure. I ordered it, but I did not receive it yet, but I will make an adapter, so I'm not sure about the scale, so how it will fit, but there will be adapter so that you can use that small figure. So I should be able to show you some pictures of how he looks, but that's for the future. As for the legs, this part here is fully articulated, and if you pull, this also isn't secured yet because, like I said, I will be changing this part, but it's fully movable. If you pull on this, you can pull it off. I could make something to block this, but the same as it is with my Scorpnock, this allows for a feet that look like this, that, let me just move it slightly, that look like in the comic, but also have articulation. So right now it can't really bend forward, but if you just slightly move this up, now it can bend like this, so you can have like this pose that with his legs back. So because I am in front of my camera, it's kind of hard for me to pose correctly, but I hope I'm not making a very bad job with this. So yeah, this allows you to get some better pose on this figure. So like this, the feet is not on the ground, but if you just push this out of a socket a bit like this, now the feet are flat and he is still stable. This one has a much larger hair spur because of the transformation, and also the crotch, as you can see here. This is a very specific look that I wanted to have, but this doesn't have much movement, so we can move like this, and there is a kneeling pose that I showed in one of my pictures in the gallery, and you can actually achieve it because I did not put in a filler here, as you can see, and I will leave it like this because now you can just slightly move this down, not popping it off, just move it down, and now he can have this kneeling pose and still have this this look, this crotch. So down, so here it is. So that's why it is here. It is also helpful for some transformation options. So he can have some dynamic poses if you like. I'm really, so I won't pose him much like this because, like I said, I'm sorry for the cat hair that it's everywhere. Like this because, like I said, it's not easy for me to do it in front of the camera, but there are some galleries that you can see how he can be posed. Okay, so for the head will obviously have an option, but there are other options that I will show you. So this compartment here, let's move this again. This compartment here actually, focus, actually can be opened, and you can store something in this, even this door. There's an angle that you can slide this in, but I cannot see it. Okay, so you can slide this in, but there is an optional green part. I think some version had this green part, so I made this option, mostly because I wanted to use this plastic. I like, oh, sorry. Mostly because I wanted to use this transparent green that I recently discovered. Come on. Okay, so I will not push this all the way, but as you can see, this is also an option. Okay, but let's leave this one. And for the transformation, in the comic he did not really have a base mode, but he had a very strange mode that I wanted to recreate, but he doesn't really have a base mode. Also, one more thing is that if I need to get this thing, no, this thing. Also, the cannons on his legs can actually move, and they are very stiff right now, so I will help myself with this tool, but they can fold up like this. In the comic they folded up from the other side, but you can just remove them and place them. I mean, okay, you can, because I didn't make the slider. Okay, so sorry, but technically I can make this leg with the file so that you can put them other way around. So like this, and let's see some extreme close-up of Maximus. So as you can see, there are some print lines visible, because I don't think you can hide print lines perfectly, but I think you can make them look work to your advantage. So as you can see, I think some of those add some detail to the figure. So my approach is so that they look good when they look acceptable when they are present, and they give some more detail to the figure. So that's why they are here. Here are the lower legs, as you can see. Here's the back. To be honest, I did not put much detail work to the back, but I think it still looks okay. So for the transformation, let's put him with a bit of a neutral pose. Okay, like this. Okay, and the flaps go there. Oh, okay, it's already there. So let's refocus the camera. So I will show you the mode that, I will show you what the alt mode was based off. So this is a page from the comics that I remember that it's, I think, only part when he is in his alt mode, at least in the comics that we had in Poland. So this is what I wanted the alt mode to resemble in somewhat way. So this is what I was aiming at, and I will show you how to transform him now. It is very easy. So okay, so to do that, he is not super plugged in, so some things may fall off, but they will be, I think, more stiff later. Okay, so these are some fillers that you have to slide up. Quite stiff. Now you just have to slide this leg in, and this one. Okay, and now this you just slightly lift the head and it unplugs this tower. Do not worry about this squeaking noise. Rotate this. You can rotate the arms up right now so they're out of the way. And this is the sliding thing. Okay, and normal Fort Maximus head unplugs. This one is solid for now, so you can plug it and move it to the side, but you can also turn it sideways. It's very stiff like this, and just move it like this so it's out of the way. Okay, and now you just rotate this and rotate this. Okay, so basically when you put this flat and adjust the camera, this is the out mode of Marvel Fortress Maximus, and you can always plug this thing in, and with the help of this part here, can lift the cannons. So I left some ports here for some future upgrades, but basically this is the recreation of his alt mode. So he is basically laying down, but I did add this tower transformation just to resemble his comic version more. Those small hairs you see are sometimes from the printing process, so I'll be removing them, of course. So here is his base mode, and spaceship mode, I guess, that he didn't really use in the comic, but I think in the comic he lost the ability to transform, and he was basically, from what I remember, basically a non-transforming figure. But you can kind of make him into a more of a city mode. If you rotate this, you could just, like in the kneeling pose, move his legs up like this. Oops. This armor is able to be disconnected because, like I said, I may make some upgrades in the future. So he does have this kind of a base mode, as you can see. So he is back heavy a bit. Not sure why he wasn't. Maybe if I just... not sure why, but I think I was able to balance him, but you can just put something under so that he holds. So this is a base mode, kind of. Here's him with Legends figures. So let's transform him back to his robot mode and continue. I decided to transform him on camera so that you can see that everything is working. So you just put the head up, rotate it so that it is facing the front, and just let's remove the gun. The legs just slide like this, and this needs to be rotated like this. Move it slightly. Now rotate this thing here and rotate the whole section back like this. Okay, rotate the arms, like this. Those legs need to, so both legs need to be moved like this, and this thing is quite stiff because I recently just, this one is not, but this can be a pain. So after the lower legs are done, when you lift this tower, you rotate this so that it's facing inside. So I really like this green, it really grabs a lot of light in an interesting way. You just rotate this in and it locks this torso, and when you're putting this back, it locks this whole section here. So just make sure that everything is okay. When it is secured, it just clicks in place. So yeah, this is a Fort Max back in his robot mode. So as you can see, he can be swapped from mode to mode with basically no problems. Okay. move his arms. So there is an auction right now for him and his prototype, and I will show you the prototype. So here is the prototype. I usually make prototypes in one color because just it's faster and the material doesn't have to be swapped. So as you can see, some things are changed: the forearms, the head, other mechanics. The back isn't finished, so this is a basic idea of how I wanted this to look. So you will get this prototype on this auction, also the bag of prototype parts. It's not all of this, but if you are into this kind of stuff, it may be a look into how the steps to design this look. So here is what's in the auction, and he is kind of a set to this guy because I wanted them to resemble their comic versions, but also have this aesthetic, so that that they look like a part of one like world together. So here is him with Scorpnock, kind of post. We're missing a Power Master Prime here, so maybe in the future. Also Scorpnock can also transform, and so I have a second one here already transformed to show you how they look together. So if you don't want him in robot mode, you can confront this Maximus with Scorpnock in Scorpion mode. So let's see that from a bit higher up, because we are missing some details. So yeah, so this is what. Whoa, focus. So this is how those two look like, and I am selling the files for this Scorpnock for $55 to sponsor new projects like this one, and eventually I will sell the files for this one, but my process is quite chaotic, so I just need to have some proper naming, so proper grouping, so that they are easy to read. I mean, I can read them with no problem, but I want them to be easier for the people that buy. This gun also will have a secondary option with more details, so just so you know that there may be some optional details here. And I will make a few of them, like with this guy I made 10 of those, but I like to focus on making new figures than just on making more of the same figures. So my goal is to design them, but not to produce them. So if you like this project, like this video, please share. Maybe someone will pick this up and I could just focus on designing them, and someone else can produce them for larger audience. So because when I'm selling the completed ones, they are quite expensive because they take a lot of my time to. I mean, I designed them quite fast. This one was like 2 weeks because I had a lot of experience from this guy, and the next one I think could be even faster. But the printing itself is a pace setter for me. So right now I will finish a few of them, and I will move on to the next figure probably. So thank you for watching this. Please share your opinions. This is a Marvel comic Fortress Maximus, and this is a Marvel comic based Scorpnock. These are my projects. You can see more of pictures and more of my progress on my page, Printformers. So thank you for watching this, and see you at my other projects.